misconceptions. We've got truth in our possession. No room for doubt, no time to waste. It's time to put flat earth in its place.
Welcome everybody to Tuesday Night. I'm your host MCToon. Welcome everybody. Now, if you are unfamiliar with Nathan Oakley, well, today, if you I hope you're a masochist because if you stick around, you've got to be, because we're going to be delving into the world of Nathan Oakley. Now, if you don't know who he is, he thinks that the earth is a pizza shape, flat and all, covered in dirt and mud and stuff. That's what he thinks the earth is. And he's hosted a show that's ironically named Flat Earth Debate for nearly 10 years now. It's ironically named because he does not allow debates on his channel at all. He aggressively jumps in should a debate begin to happen, and the way he does that is a couple things. Of course, he'll talk over, he'll berate, he'll yell, and everything like that. And but the biggest thing is that he has configured his system so that when he talks, it automatically mutes the other people on Discord. And so you can see that when he's on Discord. He's not always on Discord, but you can see when he's on Discord because it shows the icon for who's speaking is highlighted. And you'll see that his icon is highlighted and the other person's icon is highlighted at the same time, but you don't hear the other person at all. You only hear Nathan. He has set it up so that it auto mutes the other people, but he also has a panel of faithful yes men that he populates and has on his side, and they are there for one purpose: to suckle up to him, to do whatever he says to do. And since nobody comes to debate because people have figured out that he doesn't allow debates, he has gone to other things. So basically he spends an hour every day, 5 days a week, doing what is a religious mass. He has what he calls the housekeeping questions. He'll ask the question, and then the panel of sucklings are there to answer him, and they need to answer in the right way, and they need to answer quick enough, and if they don't, they get berated and they get scolded for not answering quickly enough. So that's how he does the show, and that takes about an hour. He fills out about an hour. Sometimes he'll get a couple other things, but then the live stream portion ends and he turns off the live stream. And then he records what he calls the after show. But the after show is what he hopes is the real show, where he'll do other stuff on there. Anyway, and then later he will publish the after show. He'll edit that and he'll publish it. And of course, the problem is that, and he'll premiere this show. And what's absolutely hilarious is that nobody watches these premieres. And so yesterday on Facebook, I posted a, I'll grab it here. Put it here, right here. There it is. There it is. So this was premiering yesterday or the day before. This is Flat Earth Debate 2352 Uncut. And you'll notice down at the bottom the number of people watching. 3. 3 people were watching. So Nathan Oakley, after 10 years of hosting the Flat Earth Debate show, gets 3 people to watch the premiere of his video. So good for you, Nathan. You totally figured it out, didn't you? No, he didn't at all. Actually, people generally don't watch because the only people that care were already there watching, the 5 or 6 people that are on the panel, and then a handful of other people that were there live. That's it. That's the only people that care. He struggles to break 1,000 views on his regular shows, and often they're in the 500s for the number of views for his live shows. Now, he has been doing this for that long, and he fancies himself an expert. He calls himself an expert in this topic, and now, but he won't debate, right? He tries to get people lured in to come into debate so that he can, manipulate them and mute them and talk over them and berate them and things like that. People have figured that out. And so people have challenged him to debate on a third-party platform where he doesn't have a mute button. I have done that myself. I did that 1,248 days ago. I issued a challenge to him to debate me on a neutral platform where he does not have a mute button. And he has chosen not to. He knows that he doesn't have evidence. He knows that he cannot, in a neutral debate environment, participate in a debate on the topic of the shape of the earth. And so he controls the narrative and only allows it to happen on his platform where he can mute people. Now, he has said that he's open to doing it, but requires a fee to do that. And of course, if you require a fee to do that, it's because you know that you don't have anything. Because why would he need a fee to do that? In fact, I have identified the different several different things that cowards use as defense mechanisms when they to run away from a debate. And here's a list of them. And flat earthers are excel in these. They'll block people. They'll say there is no debate. Well, if there is no debate, should be easy, shouldn't it? They'll say someone else already demolished you. Well, then it should be easy, shouldn't it? Demand a concession in order to debate. Well, the point of a debate is that we don't agree. So why would you need a concession? You wouldn't need a concession. You're a shill. Again, that's not a reason not to debate. If somebody's just a shill, paid by the government to do these things, you would easily defeat them. And number 6, we get here, pay me. And that this is the coward's live debate defense that Nathan Oakley uses. Why would anyone pay Nathan to participate? Is he able to demand money for appearances on this topic? He is not. Did he accomplish something giving him major notoriety? He has not. Remember, he gets 3 views on his live premieres. Or are you a small fish in a smaller pond? And that's the case, of course. The coward knows there's no value in paying them, so nobody would pay them. Easy escape. So Nathan, I understand that you have this pay me requirement. Well, I happen to also have a policy over here at MCToon Global Headquarters. We have a policy for debates where people demand payment. The policy is I demand the exact same payment. It's just a reciprocity arrangement. So if you need $500 in order to debate, fine, I'm happy. I also need $500 to debate. Fine, you should be happy. So, and then of course that gives us 2 choices, right? We can just call it a wash and, we can just debate and you can live stream on your platform. I can live stream on my platform. Hey, awesome. Both sides get to live stream. Plus the neutral platform who is moderating it and hosting it primarily, they get their benefit there as well. Or if you prefer, we can both put our money into holding. We can choose an escrow holder. I can send my $500. You can send your $500. And then afterwards, the escrow holder can transfer my $500 to you and your $500 to me. there you go. Either way, I'm totally fine with that, Nathan. But it, you know, it's been a long time, Nathan. It's obvious the flat earth debate platform is not a platform for debates. If it was, if you were adept at debate, you would jump for this, but you won't. Anyway, I think that's a fair way to do things. Now, who is Nathan Oakley and what is he? This is him. You may have seen from the thumbnail. This is the most hideous thing to have ever spawned from a Ferengi's rectum. And I can say that, freely. If you're familiar with him, Nathan, this guy is the guy that in a live stream when his daughter was trying to access his iPad, he slapped her, causing her to cry quite severely, and then blamed it on somebody else. A absolutely disgusting thing. I won't play that clip. It's quite horrible. But I have played it, and people were shocked, and in the comments of my videos have been rather upset that I played it because I didn't warn them. So if I ever do include it again, I will be sure to warn them. So that's Nathan. He is the host, and as host, he says that people are not allowed to swear on his show. They're not allowed to overtalk on his show. They're supposed to stay on topic and things like that, which of course he completely violates all the time. So that's one. That's Nathan. Number two, we've got a guy who is he goes by Refracted Curvature, I think, or John. They just call him John. Now, this guy, John, claims to have a degree in mechanical engineering and a degree in electrical engineering. He says he has 2 bachelor's degrees, mechanical engineering and electrical engineering. Now, when you study electrical engineering, you take a large number of electrical or mechanical engineering. You take a large number of math classes. Lots of geometry involved, especially in mechanical engineering. There's plenty of geometry involved, and lots of calculus. You spend, your first year of university is a full year of calculus. So you do lots of calculus. You have a large amount of understanding of the math and geometry required to do the engineering. So anybody that actually has that degree has a solid handle on math and calculus. But John does not, which you will find out. That's number 2. Number 3 is a guy named Brian. Brian's Logic. He is the most hillbilly Irishman ever. It is difficult to understand his accent. It sounds like he's got cotton shoved in his mouth. If you've seen the Godfather movies, it's like that, except a hillbilly Irishman talking. So good luck understanding him. From the context, you will probably get the what he's saying from what other people have said. So we pick up 4739. We pick up. I've reviewed this a bit, and we're gonna pick up with the discussion already in progress, and to hear what it is that these geniuses have to share on the Flat Earth Debate show, which of course has nobody on it debating them on Flat Earth. It's 100% Flat Earthers on this show.
First, and Brian is correct. Specifically horizontal plane, especially when referencing Earth in any regard for any measurement. Always a horizontal plane.
So you can't just go from one point on a freaking watermelon or a cantaloupe or a beach ball.
Oh yeah, and Neil, who you're hearing talk right now, Neil is Nathan's lapdog. He's basically Joe Pesci.
So stop sending me these freaking messages, ballers.
Yeah, if you want to talk about measuring the surface of Earth with linear miles, they want to talk about measuring a cantaloupe. if you want to talk about how kilometers can only be represented with respect to a linear flat distance as per the scale on a map.
That and you've heard here now already. Anybody that has any background in geometry would know how wrong that is. It is entirely possible to place a to do a measurement. Let me use my tab can. It is entirely possible to do a measurement on a curving surface. You could measure how many centimeters it is from the bottom of the T to the bottom of the B, or bottom of the other T. Not that difficult to do, right? I have here a ruler, and I can roll that ruler. You'll see that the ruler at this point is tangent to the surface at this one point. Straight ruler, curved surface, ruler is tangent at that surface. So I can go right there at that corner of the T, roll it up to here, 7.5 centimeters from the bottom of this T to the bottom of this next T. So I just showed with a real world demonstration that you can use a linear measurement, centimeters, to measure something on a curved surface. And Nathan has just said that which I just did is impossible. Now, John Refracted Curvature, who claims to have 2 engineering degrees, didn't jump in and say, hold on a second, that's not correct at all. Seems he doesn't have the background he claims he has.
They want to talk about how you measure trousers with a tape. It's hilarious. It's like, are we measuring our trousers? It rings of a Kumu virus when these people tell me, "You telling me I can't run a tape measure around my fat belly?" Yeah, you can. It's just not how we deal with Earth, is it? Bless your fat belly. Yeah, linear. Yeah, the number of yards are being dealt with around your fat belly when we look at a map, and that scale that's flat and linear. Yeah, that's how we deal with Earth. Flat.
So he's just said what I showed you in real life can't happen. Amazing stuff.
What's that? You got a big fat belly? And you can measure it with a tape? Round? Yeah, go on a diet then, fatty. Meanwhile, Earth's measured flat. It's linear. I mean straight. Not round your...
Now, this is one of his favoritist of all things to say, but he has never in the history of the show ever provided these measurements.
Fat belly with your tape measure? Yeah?
The thing is this, right? I can stand on the surface of a sphere, and I can make a straight line from my position, right?
All right. So this is Brian's logic. He just said, I can stand on the surface of the sphere and make a straight line with a measurement. He's right.
If the force of gravity existed. Now, within our paradigm, force of gravity doesn't exist anymore. So plumb bobs wouldn't even like...
Which is wrong about, of course.
Marriage. Right. I don't know what plumb bobs would do, because they have no explanation for what a plumb bob does since 1915, when Albert Einstein threw a force of gravity out the window. The thing is this, right? I could make a tangent to that spherical surface, right? I could then walk forward 1 foot and make another tangent. Now, both of those would be straight lines, right, geometrically. But none of them would be horizontal, because none of those would be parallel to each other. But that's the thing. If they're not parallel, they're not horizontal. They're not horizontal, then they're not in alignment with reality.
So here's that. Now he has gotten the first part of this correct. He said that you can measure something on the surface that's curving. And then he got confused because he's then said that if you did that, then those tangents at each of those surfaces, right, are not parallel to each other. And of course that's true. On the surface of on a curving surface, every tangent is different from every other tangent. They're not parallel. That is completely true, that they're not parallel to each other. But then he said, but that's not reality. And how does he know that? He doesn't. He doesn't have any measurements supporting that.
So that's it. So if you think when you step forward, you make a straight line, that you're going to have 2 diverging horizontals, then you got problems. Sorry.
Did you just say your foot?
Okay, so here comes Refracted Curvature John Another hillbilly. This is an American hillbilly, so this is going to be a hillbilly fight here, a little bit like a clown wrestling, between the Irish hillbilly and the American hillbilly.
It's a straight line.
Yeah, it has a tangent. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't.
And there it is. So that's John, the guy that says he has 2 engineering degrees.
That's not how straight lines work. It would be a curve at all points.
The tangent is not
Deviate from zero. There would never be. Yeah, but your foot is not a point.
The point on the surface of a sphere.
Foot. Not a point. It's not.
Quick shout
A
out.
foot is a foot. Point is
The point, the place I stand upon is the point on the surface of the sphere. When I take a step forward, I'm standing on a different point on the surface of the sphere.
That's
But I
right.
make 2 tangents to those 2 points. They will not be parallel because none of them will be horizontal.
That's right. They would not be parallel, but each of those would be horizontal at that location only. The definition of horizontal is orthogonal to the vertical vector, and there's a different vertical vector at each point on the surface of a sphere. And somebody in the chat here mentioned that, yeah, on the opposite side of the sphere they would be parallel, and that's correct. Or if there's some weird undulations, it's possible to have multiple points as well.
What is your exact issue with this again?
no. A foot is not a curve.
I didn't say anything about it, but I never mentioned
How thought it was a
foot.
curve?
Actually, I did. I said
said
if I
your
step
foot
forward
is a
1 foot. You're right. I said if I step forward 1 foot. But it doesn't matter because if I step forward, right, a distance of 12 inches, what does it matter?
But an inch not a point either. I think it's John's point, right?
Foot is not a point.
Yeah, well, if I take step,
What? Nobody claimed that. They're getting confused. A foot is not a point. Why? What is this? It's so funny. Now, Brian's logic is incredibly stupid and is a flat earther, so don't be confused here, right? It is confusing. He's getting this almost a little bit correct.
1 step forward. Let's take the foot out. 1 step forward. Then.
Yes, and the foot is not a
Thank you, teacher John. Thank you for being such a brilliant teacher. That hasn't taught me stuff.
Oh, wow. Oh, hyper specificity, Brian. I guess it's only important when you do it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I accept. The difference between me and you, John, is I accept when I made a mistake or I'm wrong. No, Nathan, this is something you're not aware of. The difference between me and you, John, is I accept that I'm wrong. I don't run into a complete idiot.
So there's a little beef between them already, and apparently Nathan doesn't even know about this beef.
Oh my God. Right, let's just do
Thank
a
you,
shout
Brian,
out.
for
Stop
calling me an
wanking,
idiot.
hold your tongues.
So
Right.
educated. Okay.
Well, you did turn into an idiot when you did not answer the question, John.
Tongues, gentlemen. Quick
Brian
shout out.
acknowledged when he was wrong.
Oh, nice. You got faux Joe Pesci there is taking sides.
And we moved forward. It can't be done with you.
Are we moving forward? Is this moving forward?
Not shouting out the super
Is this
chat.
something like-
Now, that's for sure.
Let it go, Neil. Let it go. Because he's too much of a child.
Nathan's got a super chat.
Out to Meme Cannon. Says, I'm simping for John. He's my favourite, Neil. Give you the super chat, Meme
Right.
Cannon.
Yeah, when you hold up mirrors, people get angry. They start
yeah,
attacking
very
on a personal level.
When you put people wrong, then you get very angry.
I bet you no one can really think of the question I was responded to claim what you're stating as fact.
You guys are leaving the audience in the dark, and that's not right.
That's fair enough.
So,
What
unless
John's
you're going to
saying
explain
is,
to them.
as soon as you start ascribing the distance, Brian described it as a step or a foot, and John is saying you can't have this ascribed to a ball because you need a single point. And in any measurable,
You need a single point. You can't have it ascribed to a ball because you need a single point. You can get a single point on a ball. Why is that a problem?
quantifiable distance, right down to the inch, the foot, the yard, the
Yeah, what audience? All three. The audience is right there. You see the whole audience.
mile, they're all incapable of description as a single point. That's John's point, right? Unless I'm missing something.
No, an inch can be a single point, just not on the surface of the sphere. But you can still have a single point on the surface of the sphere.
That's not what point means. Point
Just
doesn't
straight line.
have two-dimensional. It is a point has 0 dimensions. You're saying this two-dimensional line is a point, and
A point is one dimension. Oh dear.
It's not.
Who's saying a two-dimensional line is a point?
Your foot is a point on a sphere, Brian?
I said, if I take this, okay, John, okay, I'll redo it because you're having big issues with it.
There's not big
If I'm
issues.
standing on the surface of the sphere and I make a tangent right underneath my feet. So I take a step forward, one step forward, and I make another tangent right underneath my feet. Right? At those 2 points where those two tangents meet, those two tangents will not be parallel to each other.
No.
They will be divergent. So they won't be horizontal. So they don't match reality.
Yeah, he's got it correct. And then he said they don't match reality. Why don't they match reality? Did you bring some measurements? He did not.
Which was my actual point.
Hold on, John. Just so it doesn't get dragged
they're
out
just
forever.
getting
Can you
warmed up.
acknowledge what Brian said? He's pointing out with his multiple tangents that are never parallel, please.
Yes.
That's fine. Yeah, it's not a tangent. No, I never asserted it was. What I'm pointing out is to assert it's a tangent, you have to first deny geometry.
John, who knows nothing of geometry, is now going to educate people on geometry. This is gold.
Why would you have to deny geometry when the tangents to a sphere that are part of geometry?
You don't get a plane from a point.
Yeah, you do. So you do get here's how it works. So you have a on the surface of a circle. We'll start in 2 dimensions, and you can extrapolate up to 3. At the point where a line intersects the curve, a straight line, like say from the center of a circle, radiating out, intersects the curve of a circle. At that point, a one-dimensional thing. At that point, the I'm sorry, 0. Never mind. There is a tangent, and that tangent is a line in 2 dimensions, and so we can see this in Euclid Book 3, Prop 18. This Euclid Book 3, Prop 18 is just destroys the flat Earth. Oakley's position here, right? So here we have the line I was talking about, FC. You see that line there, FC? So there, and then at C is a point, and then perpendicular to line FC, you've got the line EG. That line there is perpendicular, and that is the tangent line. Now, if you extend this into 3 dimensions, and instead of being a circle, we're looking at a bisected sphere. Okay, so the line FC, you can say is the vertical vector on the surface of a sphere, or the surface of a globe, right? So if that will continue away from F, and that is then up. The vector from F to C that would then continue is the direction of up. And so at the point C, the vertical vector that goes from F to C, if you take the orthogonal to that vertical vector, gives you a plane. Now, orthogonal is a more dimensions than 2 word for perpendicular. All right, so that gives you a plane at that point, and so this is a bisection of the sphere, and so now line EG or ED, the line ED there, that is a bisected plane that is tangent at point C. So this is a geometry. It's not that complicated geometry, and somebody that has 2 degrees in engineering would understand it well. But no, John does not.
The tangent is touching the surface of a sphere or a circle at one point.
So not your foot.
I said underneath my foot. I just corrected that. The point underneath my foot on the surface of the sphere.
So which point underneath your foot is touching the sphere, and what's the rest of it floating into tangent.
I'll tell you what I do. I could remove me from the equation altogether and just go into maybe degrees from the center point of the globe.
And Brian, Hillbilly Irishman, made the mistake of using his feet standing on the surface of a globe and using a unit of measurement, feet. And then John isn't smart enough to understand that he's conflated them.
So we need to do the math sphere for what length.
Just that's kind of the point, really. And I'm glad you've said it in that way, Brian, because isn't that just the point? As soon as you try and ascribe any measurable, as soon as you try and ascribe any measurable quality to the surface of Earth that you're actually standing on or measuring, that's geometry, then you're going to violate any base principle of that geometry if the surface is curving. So in order to get around that, you need to,
Why would you violate anything when you're measuring on the surface of a sphere? There's nothing that is violated by measuring on the surface of a sphere. What a weird thing. Nathan has developed this entire version of math that the idiots that follow him think is reality, think is the only way to do math. They think that you can't measure a distance on a curving surface. They think that a line cannot even curve. Amazing that he has created this fantasy land that the people that listen to him, follow him, think is real.
You just did take it away from the actual measurable surface of the world that we stand on and measure with feet and inches and miles and in a linear fashion, and take it into a mathematics that isn't the surface of the world, so that you can have it tangential to a point. Now, that is a reasonable summary, would you not agree?
You've missed the bit that they're not, as Brian said, that they're not therefore horizontal or parallel. Those two tangents. That's Brian's point, I think.
Yeah, we got that, and I made John acknowledge it, and he said that was fine. That's as good as we got out of him. But I did definitely recognise that point that Brian was making.
Yeah, but see, the thing is,
my point is
describing a situation.
Brian was first. Yeah, Brian.
I was describing a situation.
All right, we got a Flatty in chat that's trying to ask me questions. Now, here, let me tell you. I don't care what your name is. Flatty in the chat. If you want to engage with me on some topic, if you think that you want to ask me some questions, if you want to learn, it sounds like you want to learn. If you want to learn, I'm happy to teach you. Send me an email, mctoon@mctoon.net, and I will email you a Zoom link, and you can join me right now if you want to engage in a discussion with me. I would welcome that. If you want to sea lion me, then you won't send me that email. Instead, you're just going to sea lion. And that I'm not into. I'm not right today. Not feeling it. Not into being sea lioned. You know, sometimes I'm okay with that, and then I'll just, I'll dress you down after that and mock you and ridicule you. Today, I got other stuff. I got a whole plan here. All right, I'm happy to just to shelve the entire plan. Just shoot me that email, and we'll shelve this plan, and we'll go to plan B, your plan, where you come in and you get educated.
I used the term foot. That was incorrect. John pointed that's incorrect. Brian, that's incorrect. And then I just said I took a step forward, right? Step is no defined distance. But at that point, I'm not making any claim of measurement.
Yeah.
I'm not using anything.
Yeah.
I'm just describing a situation.
Yeah, can you acknowledge what I've just said, though? That's the point. For you to quantify it spherically, you're not measuring Earth then, yeah? You're going to take it to a step, because a foot's not good enough spherically, right? It won't work. So you've got to change it to a step, because that's unquantifiable and therefore okay. But you're not measuring Earth anymore.
You can traverse a foot, it's fine. The point of recognition needs to be that after however small or larger distance, whether it's quantified or not, at the point that you have to then set up another point-based tangent to the surface, those two tangents that you've now created will not be parallel. Therefore,
Yeah,
I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that. Could you please acknowledge my point?
Oh, he has a
Why
point.
exactly is-
Repeat it back, because you all been listening so well. So I don't acknowledge anything. Hold on.
You said a point
I
was
don't
zero.
acknowledge anything. Hold on. I don't acknowledge anything. That's your position, and I don't like to be proven wrong.
That wasn't my position.
Restate what I said.
Incorrect, not my position.
So this gets better. They're just getting warmed up.
My position is very clear.
Restate what
If
I
you
said.
concede when you're wrong.
Brian, we've acknowledged your position a few times.
He's asking someone else to give back to him, to his position, when he's not even able to give them their position correctly or honestly.
We've had your position repeated multiple times now. He's asking for the same in return. You're rumpusing him.
No, you don't know what's going on here, man.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I'm finished with this, is what it is.
You don't know. Yes, I do. No, you don't. No, he doesn't. Yes, I do. No, you don't.
Special boy treatment. You don't get special boy treatment and then get to turn around and treat me like garbage. No.
But you're the special boy. Nathan takes your side most of the time. All Nathan said was, okay, we've heard your point. Yes, we did. Why can't you address his? Like, that's all he asked. It doesn't have to be an argument. Like,
what?
We don't know who you're talking to. Eli.
Ask him again, Nathan. Ask him again.
Could John make his point?
Hold on, Eli. Eli, who are you addressing with that statement? Were you addressing Brian or John with that statement?
I was addressing John because you had responded in saying, yeah, he did. And then Neil said, no, he didn't. And then I said, yeah, he did.
That's very useful. Thank you, Eli.
I'm sorry you can't remember what you said 5 seconds ago, Nathan.
He said this, and then I said, and then Neil did that, and then John was like that, and then Brian was like, and then like Neil was like, yeah, and then Brian was like, nuh-uh, and like John was, oh, shut up.
Not going to help you any further than that.
Hold on, says the guy that said, did I lose my train of thought?
Before you go on,
Yo, we're a cluster screw, my friends.
Gotta lie, you win noise. Go ahead, Adam. Eli's win noise, that is, not Brian's.
just because I was late joining and I was hearing Brian. I think I summarised what I thought Brian was explaining, but what I didn't hear was John's objection or point of amendment. Could he just make that clear? Because I'm a little lost. I don't really.
Yeah, everyone is. Brian, though, isn't. He said, I don't listen, I don't concede. I gave him his point. But now nobody can get back in mind.
I can tell.
Now be quiet, please.
I was asking you what your point was.
That to describe anything three-dimensionally, you can't do it on the surface of a sphere without having, your foot is not a point to describe anything. Any of these things, you're going to take them to the center of the sphere to describe them and cast them out with angles.
Yeah, nobody was having an argument about how you would have to do it. I was just describing it.
But see now.
But the thing is that you didn't concede anything. You didn't concede anything, John. That was a lie which you said a second ago. Because there was no argument about what I said concerning the two tangents not being parallel. You didn't argue against that point. There was no argument. So you didn't concede. When you agreed, that wasn't you conceding to anything.
I acknowledged your point. You wouldn't acknowledge
when you said you conceded. You didn't.
You would not acknowledge my point when I was making it.
Yeah, call Badger, dude. They're trying to out pedantic them each other.
And now you're trying to act like you were acknowledging my point.
I acknowledged your point all along, and I conceded. Well, I conceded all along without problem. That's a lie.
Okay, fine. So can I just jump in at this point then? Sorry, John. So at this point, my summary then gets to get reiterated. Would you agree, Brian, that given that the measurement standards that we use are laid down in terms of how they get applied to the surface of Earth in a Cartesian fashion, that you can't, as John is pointing out, apply those to the surface of a sphere? Because you can't suggest that a foot, an inch, a mile can terminate at a point on a sphere, because it's a violation of that standard that's being used when you say, in this case, I don't want to trigger you, but foot.
Nope, not at all. And Jack Fetter has a fantastic super chat. He says, student, how do I calculate the length of this curved line? Teacher, sorry, you can't. Not possible. And that's exactly what Nathan is saying. You cannot determine the length of a line. A curved line, according to Nathan here.
Right? Can that?
Yeah, okay, you're falling into the trap, Nathan. Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, because the foot is a straight line, it's not going to work on the surface of the sphere. If I'm just describing it from the surface, it would have to be that amount of distance and arc length from the centre. Yeah, you would not believe, Nathan, how fully aware I am of that.
You would not believe how fully aware he is. Nathan, become more aware.
There's so much I'm aware of geometrically that you wouldn't believe it. Honestly, no problem with me understanding that simple concept. Maybe go watch my videos, Nathan. Maybe watch them. Maybe then you'll be convinced that I know what I'm talking about.
Peachy Tony says, are there lengths on hills? According to Nathan, there is no length on a hill. It is not possible, according to Nathan, to measure the length of anything from one side of the hill to the other by going over the hill. It's not possible, according to Nathan.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm a special boy.
Yeah, it is.
What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? I thought I'd taken the full brunt.
I think accepting, Nathan, to you suddenly acting as if you're the teacher
I'm a special boy.
of something here. You're not a teacher of something here. Before John ever said to you that you can't have an up and a down on a sphere, I was saying you ignored it consistently. I specifically said you can only have an in and into the center or out from the surface. I specifically said that, and you ignored it all the time. Suddenly John says it to you, and it's a revelation, and you can't shut up about it.
Yeah, 2 weeks
That's
before.
pretty much correct.
The first person to
2
fucking
weeks
say it
before,
is
right?
cyber language.
2 weeks before.
I'll take it on the chin.
That's right, John. It's there in the live show.
Let me just reiterate. Hello. Let's just
Brian, just to get
reiterate
this on
Brian's
track.
gripe. Brian's gripe is that upon pointing this out multiple times and it being met with deaf ears on my part, that is to say, I'm not saying, yeah, you're right. It's only up and down perpendicular to a plane, like I've said so concisely today. Brian's saying, when I point it out, it's deaf ears, no one's repeating anything. Yet John says it, suddenly it's a revelation. Correct?
With you, Nathan. I can't speak for other people. I'm talking about you.
Oh, okay. I mean, what do you want me to say? When I've heard it from John, it's resonated better than when it's been said by you. Is that what you want me to say? So it's like you're the martyr and I'm the...
No, John just said the same thing as I said. There's no...
And remember, the name of the show is Flat Earth Debate. This is where Nathan has pretended to invite other people that don't think that the Earth is flat to debate on the topic of whether or not the Earth is flat. And of course, he's pretending because he doesn't allow debates to happen on that topic at all. But no, none of these people are debating about that topic. They are all flat earthers that are pissing around about who can be most wrong about geometry.
special, different way. You say it the way you say it. You know, the difference is that I could say something to you 10 times, 100 times. In one area or the other. John says it and it's a revelation. Now, I don't mind that. Right? I tolerate that when John says something, you pay more attention. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with you then turning around and trying to geometrically educate me.
Nah, don't take that the wrong way.
When you said that thing you could say about the video the other day is, oh, after 17 minutes it got there.
Nah,
that means you're not paying attention.
Let me apologise, right? That's not my intention. My intention is only ever to educate the audience. And what you're suggesting is there's a good chance you only found out the thing that you're reiterating in a slow tone 30 seconds earlier, yet you're seemingly condescending to me who knew it long before you did, and you've even ignored it multiple times. How dare you condescend to me like you're educating me? I'm not. I'm trying to educate an audience. Don't take it like I'm trying to condescend to you, and I will. I'll acknowledge it. And I'll acknowledge the super chat, which gives the sentiment beautifully.
So, the fact that he is trying to educate anybody when he does not have the ability to educate is condescension.
Brian knew 2 weeks before the show, John. Yeah, thank you very much, Meme Cannon, for the super chat. Yeah, Brian.
All you got to do is check some of Brian's old videos and you'll see.
I'm still not sure on the point of contention. Call me a bit of a thickie, if you wish, but I'm just trying to keep up with what appears to be a point of contention. And getting things right and described right is important. But what I heard John say was, at this point where if you're going to create a tangent, it can only be a point source on the surface, yeah? Is that the point of contention, that this actually can only be a theoretical point source where you create the tangent?
Well, yeah, but you would need first to establish the system from a plane to do that point source, to establish that quadrant-based geometry that you're getting.
That's not quadrant-based geometry. What the hell is he talking about? Quadrant-based geometry to get a tangent to a point of a sphere. Oh my goodness.
Ready to use as a point source.
You mean because you're going to apply geometry to what you're doing?
Yeah, because you're going to say a foot.
A foot.
Circumferential travel, which would equate to 0.000026515 degrees of angular change
from hell.
Of light to
Thank you.
Set up parallel planes, which are not parallel because they're out by that just stated amount.
Yep.
Both being tangent to the surface at a point.
Can't have that.
That's what I've got.
Okay, so Adam Meakin, who is probably the most reasonable of them all, although he's a flat earther, and he has gotten arrested at a outdoor flat Earth, evangelism event, trying to resist arrest. Yes, he was arrested. There's video of it somewhere. It was a while ago. Anyway, he has again correctly identified that that 2 points on the surface of the sphere that are separated by some distance will not have parallel tangents. Why is this a problem? No idea.
Brian, bloody hell! Did you not listen to Brian?
That's what Brian's described. But we're now accepting that whenever you create a tangent to the surface of a sphere, presupposed or not, there isn't actually a surface area per se. It is, as John says, it's a point source. Because this is you're translating reality when you've set up your level to then mathematics. So when you translate it from reality to the mathematics that you're going to presuppose you're living on a ball, it becomes a point source. It doesn't have it doesn't apply to the surface of the sphere. It can't, can it?
Yes, sir.
What did you say?
Thank you.
He's just said that you need to define it within the system first to have that point to begin with.
Okay, 4 more minutes of this one, then we go to the next day where it gets hot.
So before you get to the point on the ball, you need it in a system to begin with. That's what I just heard, at least, unless I'm adding things that aren't there, hallucinating what John just said. Did I add that in unnecessarily? You need the system first, right?
But yeah, but the system being geometry, you've not yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's all. We were not yet using it. At the moment, we've got a big circle, haven't we? And a dot, a point on it. And then a straight line.
No, that's, again, I don't want to be accused of favoritism, but no, from what I'm understanding, the system that's defined gets defined at the point that the measurement structure gets defined with foot. Therefore, that's the starting point, unless I'm very much mistaken.
But derivation of unit you're going to?
Yeah, geometry. Then we're into the earth measurement with feet.
The derivation of unit.
All right. Also, notice the rotating diagrams that they have up there. Nathan has these set up to go through. These all show geometry that does not work for flat Earth in general, but some of them are manufactured geometry. That is not the actual globe geometry. It's a misunderstanding of it. But just watch how funny it is.
Unit is a different argument with regards to what I think is the point that we've got diverging zeniths or non-parallel horizontals.
Exactly, that was my point. So then you're into, so you can't define this within the construct or reality of measuring Earth with a defined system like miles, inches, etc. You can't do that. You've got to take it somewhere else. And Brian succinctly summarised that point when he's like, well, I'll take it out of the system or use a non-defined description with a step rather than an inch or a foot or a yard or anything, right? So that was my point. You have to take it out of reality.
It is out of reality because it's on a ball, which is why Brian said, I'll give you the angular measurement, which is what I worked out. So we could progress forward 0.000026515 degrees, which would equate to that foot in terms of traversement of a presupposed spherical surface.
I mean, because that's non-linear.
No, but this is perfect.
It's non-linear, therefore you can't measure it, according to Nathan. This DPD Bunks has a super chat very, very much on point here. Oakley struggles on Tinder. Her. How big is it? Oakley. No idea. Can't measure length. It's flat though. Did I say Tinder? I meant Grinder. Earthrise says Brian says statute miles are a statute of a mile. Jack Petter says, I don't know what my crown number 2 graphic means, but bow down. Yes, he has the number 2 at the moment. Let's get a couple of these older ones. Corn dog sauce at 6:47 today. Well before this stream started, says, you're the best, Mike. Keep up the hard work. And then one of these. Thank you very much for that corn dog sauce. Your pal Al says, what you gonna do when Toon Mania runs wild on you? Rip Hulk Hogan. Yes, my goodness. We got Hulk Hogan. We got Ozzy. We got oh my goodness, Red Bull jump guy. Why did I... Felix Baumgartner. And of course, Malcolm Jamal Warner, too. But, like, come on. Hulk Hogan? Oh, man. Hulk Hogan. Can't be. Hulk Hogan was just angry that Ozzy went. He's like, all right, no, you're getting back here. You watch it. You watch. Hulk's going to be back and like, nope, Ozzy, you got another tour to do. I just had to go get him. That's what's going to happen. Icy Spin says, CK's milkshake bring all the boys to the yard. Rossi says he spelled Flat Earth debased wrong. Yes. Icy Spin says, where are the guns, Nathan? Yeah, so I called in to right on point of his muting when I was in Antarctica. I jumped on the Discord server and started talking with Nathan, and he instantly started muting me. And I know his tricks. And so the trick is when you're talking to him, because when he talks, you are muted. And then when he stops talking, you then become unmuted. So the trick is you never stop talking. That's how you do it. And so he will occasionally stop talking, at which point the audience will hear what you're saying, and it will be very obvious to the audience how much he mutes. So that's how to do it. And he doesn't like what I had to say. He did not like that at all. But I had challenged him because he had posted that if you tried to go to Antarctica, you would get turned away at gunpoint. He has said that. And I went to Antarctica and I did not get turned away at gunpoint. So I'm like, where's the guns, Nathan? It was glorious. Sea-Dog says, rip Arwen on the FED panel. He sucked up hard to Nathan and still got kicked off the show. Yeah. Actually, if I'm right about that, Arwen left and demanded to get paid to return. And of course, nobody paid him to return, so he's gone. But yeah, Nathan has burned a lot of bridges, and you're gonna, the tomorrow, which we're gonna play next, to me, it's got to be a burning a bridge. DP Debunk says me equals 272 views on a stream I didn't show up for. What? How did that happen? Very nice. Good you got that. Jack Fetter says flat Earth master test. Shape of the Earth flat. Model don't need. What about X? Earth measures flat. Everything else? Nuh-uh. Expert? You pass. Yeah. You as soon as you say Earth is flat, you have defined a model. That's a model. Earth flat is a model. It's a very rudimentary model. But you can then go test things. You can test the model Earth flat. You can. You can say, well, if Earth flat, then people who look in opposite directions to see the moon simultaneously should see opposite sides of the moon. Easy test. That never happens. You see the same side of the moon. How does that happen if the Earth is flat? You cannot do that. So that falsifies flat Earth right there. Done. Now, the ancients thought that the sun went underneath the Earth at night. They discarded that idea, the entire idea of flat Earth, when they discovered that different people had night at different times. So the modern flat earthers think that the sun is above the flatness all the time. Of course, that's easy to test. Does the sun set? It doesn't. It does. Well, it doesn't go under the Earth. Therefore, flat Earth falsified. See, that's a rudimentary model that even though you don't give much detail, can be tested. So there we go. Kango44 says, for a show that advocates sexual assault, broadcasts child abuse, and peddles anti-science conspiracy theories, how has the channel not been taken down? And that I don't get. His channel remains up, and of course it's his primary source of income. So he is, he's careful with it. Unlike a lot of other flat earthers, he doesn't stray from the topic. He doesn't go into things that he knows that YouTube will not accept, right? I don't know his position on the leader of Germany from World War II. I would guess that Oakley is a fan of the mustache. It's a guess. But he doesn't go into that topic because, well, he knows that it would mess with his rice bowl being his income. So Jack Fetter says his personality is almost a caricature now. Yes, it is. He is such a horrendous person. I got a couple little clips of him here. Let's see here. We've got this one.
I'm a moron.
There you go. I can't agree more.
Now I'd like to know how my balls taste.
Gross. Try taking a yoga class. It might improve your flexibility. Right? And then, after that yoga class, what would you say?
Yum, 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 yum.
Oh, gross. Oh, nasty. Scott for $2 says here's $1 for each view Nathan gets. Kango 44 says it's the digital version of a bunch of old geezers in a UK Weatherspoons at 11:30 a.m. drinking 2-pound pints. Now, I don't know what a Weatherspoons is, but I'm guessing it's some sort of a bar or pub. Very nice. Rossi says square pane of glass on table, carefully set steel ball bearing on it. 1 point of contact. The plane is tangent to the sphere at that 1 point. Yes, and then you could roll that ball bearing, and that ball bearing would contact the plane at a different point. And neither of those points in relation to, like, of course, if you didn't move the glass remains parallel. But if you held the ball bearing and then moved the glass pane around it, right? Put it here, put it here, put it here. Those would not be parallel to each other. There you go. A great example, Rossi. All right. We're almost done with the this particular episode, and then we'll move to the next day where it goes crazy.
I feel acceptable geometric ways of describing the movement, the repositioning, and that's fine. But if you're going, like I said, are we attacking the derivation of the unit, or are we dealing with the premise that once we go to this land where we're going to move a foot or that many degrees, that the implication is that we no longer have parallel horizontals?
Yep.
That's Brian's point.
Here, hold on.
Yeah,
But when you go to this Narnia, right, and take it out of reality, you're going to the center of a sphere on a plane to describe those degrees with respect to, because it's a point source. You have to then establish a quadrant-based direction that your angle's going to move in.
Yeah, but
Okay.
All this mathematical stuff is turning my brain off, but
Yeah, this guy is smart enough to handle the math. This what they're talking about here. This is high school geometry, right? And Elijah is like, I can't handle it.
on.
Well, can we just do John and Adam? Yes, indeed, Brian.
Just slow down a sec. I'm still trying to get John's point, and I can't agree or disagree. So after I'm doing what I'm doing, which is talking about angular change with...
Oh, look at this. Conceptual sphere of view centered on the observer. Yep. Well, there's a sphere underneath it, but how is that a problem? It's not a problem at all.
regards to the amount on a circumference and setting up point source parallel planes at those different positions. When am I going to, as a baller, when am I invoking the prerequisite flat earth? At the moment, I've not done it yet. I believe I live on a ball. I've set up a tangent, and I've set up another tangent, which I know isn't parallel to it.
Yes.
What you've done is you've created 2 point sources, though.
Yes.
One on the surface of the sphere and one on the center of the sphere.
No. There are two points on the surface of the sphere. Oh, dear.
No.
And you're describing the angular change from the center of the sphere and the angular change from the surface of the sphere as it would be equated in degrees on that surface. You see, so you're describing your sphere from the center. You don't have a frame of reference to describe this from now.
No, you just said
you removed all aspects of measurement.
Oh my gosh. Remember, this is the guy that claims to have 2 engineering degrees.
no, the frame of reference now is the R, because you've set up the frame of reference to be the sphere, which is going to be defined by, again, geometry of a sphere, but also fundamentally for any real world application by a presupposed R value. That's
They like to call the radius of the Earth that people have measured multiple different ways presupposed. I personally measured the radius of the Earth multiple times. Within a small margin of error, I got the same value. Amazing. PhD Tony, point source. Source of what? Don't know. They don't know what they're talking about. These people don't understand geometry. Right? So what point source? No clue. They're just saying words that they don't understand.
now your coordinate system you're working with. Now you can argue that there requires a Cartesian grid system to define its positions in actuality. Right. That would be fine.
All right. That's enough. It doesn't get the good stuff anymore. They kind of taper down. They go back and forth a little, but the good stuff is coming. The good stuff is the next day. And so let's see here. So I'm sorry. Look at that. Blah. Sorry. Apologies. Well, look at that. Like it's just a random spot. I paused it. Look at just the teeth. What the hell? How many years of chain smoking? Oh, gross. All right. I gotta jump to the spot. All right. Here it is. 56. Brings up a prayer. All right. Yeah, and fortunately, you don't have to look at the face anymore. Yeah, I mean, look at that diagram. That diagram, right? It shows right there. That diagram shows the plane on the surface of the sphere that is orthogonal to up. See that? It's drawn as a square, but the plane would continue. And there you go. That's what it looks like. And these people can't, they're just aggressively trying to out pedantic each other. So, all right. All right. And there we go. This is about it here.
Because I'm sure I said more than that. I'm about to wash my hands of you completely, John.
Oh, come on. Don't be so dramatic.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna...
The hillbilly Irishman is gonna wash his hands completely of the hillbilly American.
To wash your hands completely of him, because what he's been is a scumbag.
No, he's not. Why are you're being a scumbag by calling him a scumbag when obviously he's discussing tangential planes to spheres that can't exist?
Really? So when he misquotes what you say on purpose, that's right. When he misquotes, what about if I misquote what you say on purpose, Nathan? What about if I did that?
Do what?
How would you feel about that? What about if I start misquoting what you say on purpose, just to try to hijack your point? That's okay with you, is it?
No. I haven't suggested that's what. I haven't suggested.
Buckle up, people. Buckle up.
That's what the issue is. The issue is he's trying to, if you're correct, misrepresent you, but you're just calling him a scumbag in response.
Nathan, that's where I get to when I'm dealing with a bot. I don't have time to waste to go around in a circle because someone's ego can't accept when they're wrong. Someone can't concede when they're wrong.
But he's not wrong.
Someone has to keep...
What's he wrong about?
He is wrong.
What's he wrong about?
He is wrong.
Okay, what's he wrong about?
But what's he right about?
What's he wrong about?
Tell me what he's right about, concerning what I said.
Oh my gosh. He's wrong. Nathan says, what's he wrong about? And typical Flerf turns it around. What's he right about?
Tell me what he's right about. What's his actual argument with me concerning what I said? You tell me. Yeah, so you can't even read it. You can't even read it what his argument is.
Reverse burden of proof.
He can't even hijack
Ooh, somebody caught it.
What I said.
No,
He just
I think
what I
that's more
said and what I
fair.
pointed out. Sorry, go on.
No, when he said reverse burden,
All right, I want you to see this here. Now, on the bottom you see these six squares or rectangles, right? Neil, who's the Joe Pesci, Nathan's lapdog. Click OK Computers, who's a dusty old computer tech guy in New York. You got the Adam Meakin, who is a pharmacist. How can a pharmacist be a flat earther? Don't he can't count past 21 without dropping his pants. Don't trust him there. Bottom left we got Brian's logic. On the bottom right we got Nathan, and then I forget who's in the middle there on the bottom center. Right. So now that's on the panel. That's not Discord. That's people on a special panel. The acolytes, the lapdogs, that are to suckle at Nathan's teats. But then you've got on the right side, you've got the Discord group there. This is the people in Discord. So when Nathan talks, anybody over on the right side there automatically gets muted. You got Anthony Burrows, Apocryphon, Dank, Diego, Elijah, who yesterday, right, we just listened to yesterday, was on the panel, but now for some reason he's in Discord. I don't know why. You got Mickey Mass, Nathan Oakley, of course, that's Nathan. Steve A, Vaxwax, Ventriloquarum, Ymir, something like that. So that's the lay of the land here.
I'm like, well, in this instance, I think that's kind of fair. Like, Nathan should be able to say what John's right about and why it's such a big deal, if that's how he feels.
Yeah, Nathan, you should be able. Exactly.
Able to what?
You said John was right in this instance and what he said. So tell us what he said that was right. Tell us what it was that John said.
No, that's not what I said. I said, what's he wrong about? Because you said he was wrong. You said he can't accept that he's wrong. I said, what's he wrong about? You immediately said, well, what's he right about?
Something else.
Was the response
it's about something else.
Now you're rumpusing.
Not this.
Now you're rumpusing me.
So rumpusing is Nathan's word for talking over. Of course, it's what Nathan does. Nathan never calls himself out for rumpusing. He always calls everybody else out for rumpusing. Now, he says that because Rumpus is a glober, very smart guy, that has a tendency to talk a lot.
So I'll just try.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to answer your question.
Second attempts. You've asked me to do something. You've misrepresented what I said. Something you've just literally only 3 minutes ago accused him of doing, and then suggested that I wasn't fair by allowing it. No, that's not what I said. You said he was wrong. I asked you, what's he wrong about? That's what I actually said. You haven't given me an answer. You've talked to me straight through the middle of it third time. You've told me, what's he right about? And I should suddenly, because it's not a burden of proof reversal fallacy, that I've got to go through what he's right about. No, you said he's wrong.
Fair in this
interruption.
You're railroading, Nathan. That's a fallacy. No, that's a fallacy.
Oh my gosh. Nathan always whines and cries like a hurt little baby child when somebody talks over him. Right? Of course, that's only Nathan is allowed to talk over people. And that's why it's been 1,248 days since I challenged him to debate me, because he won't allow somebody to not to be prevented, right, from talking, right? Only Nathan can talk over people. He needs that platform where he can do that.
See, you know it. No, this is bigger than the flat earth debate thing. This is about what's gone off.
He said he was wrong.
What somebody, but genuinely, I'm probably with Brian at this point now. Yeah, you should be able to just recite it for both myself and the audience.
What's it?
Yeah, because if you can't,
what's it?
Then Brian's got the argument that you think that John has made correctly.
What's it? I should be able to recite it.
The argument that John brought to the table now that you just introduced on his behalf.
There was no mention of an argument. There was no mention of an argument.
So I can't thought now you're going to rumpus me.
Now you're gonna rumpus me. Oh, everybody's hurt because they're getting rumpused.
Yeah, because
You're
there
gonna
was
do
no
exactly
mention
what
of an
you just
argument.
accused.
She's not listening.
Yeah, I can understand why, because you're on a sticky wicket here.
He said he was wrong. I asked him to clarify. The fifth time I've been interrupted. Fifth time.
I'm trying to tell you, but you won't allow me. You say
No, you
say
didn't.
it's wrong,
Now you're just lying.
And I go,
Now you're lying.
You won't allow me.
Now you're lying. Now you're a liar.
Listen back to it.
Don't lie to me, Brian. I'll eject you. I'm this close to disowning you, Brian. You're rumpusing me and lying. Can you shut up? Can you shut up?
I wouldn't my fuck shut up. You just call me a liar.
You are lying.
Your own audio.
Yeah, you are.
Listen to your own fucking audio, and you will see that I tried to come in and you stopped me. You said, you asked me the question twice before this. You said, what's he wrong about? And I came in to answer that, and you kept on talking.
I'll mute him, point out his lie while he rumpuses his lie.
There you go. All right. So he had to mute. He had to mute Brian because Brian's talking over Oakley, and Oakley can't auto mute Brian because Brian is on the panel, not on Discord.
Liar. He did not say that. He told me to tell him.
But you can see, look, watch Brian's avatar. It's just going and going because he's still talking.
What he was right about. He did not attempt to justify what he was wrong about. Brian is a liar.
No, I just did.
I'll mute Brian again and tell my audience what a disgusting scumbag Irish liar Brian is. He did not attempt to tell me what he was wrong about. What he did do, and I'll quote him, quote, what's he right about? So Brian is a liar. Do you like that? Do you like that, Irish? Do you hear me, Irish liar?
Yeah, I can support.
Yeah. What's he right about is not Brian trying to explain what he was wrong about like he was asked. Now Brian's lying. You're a liar. You're going to sit there and accept that you're a liar. You did not attempt to tell me an answer to my question about what he was wrong.
Call Badger Dude. You don't be upset that you're on Oakley's side. Look, what are we cheering for? Remember, we're not cheering for Oakley. We're not cheering for Brian. We're cheering for the fight.
Wrong about? You lied. What you actually said was, what's he right about? You liar.
No,
yes, that is what you said, you disingenuous scumbag liar. When I asked you what he was wrong about, because you said he was wrong, you repeatedly told me to tell you what he was right about. Now you've just told my audience that you attempted to tell me what he was wrong about. No, you didn't. You are a liar.
I'm trying to tell you that.
I'm going to eject you. You didn't try and tell me that. You bloody liar. You told me to tell you what I was right about. You scumbag, you liar. Brian's just a scumbag, a liar, and I'm this close to disowning you permanently.
Do it, bro. Do it, Oakley.
But being a bloody liar, don't lie to me, Brian. You stuttering Irish liar! You did not try and justify what he was wrong about, you bloody liar. You demanded that I told you what he was right about. Now you stuttering Irish scum are telling me that you attempted to tell me what he was wrong about. No, you didn't. You're just a liar. Do not lie to me, you scumbag. Do you like what I'm doing to you, Brian? Because it's basically what you did to John. You're a scumbag liar, Brian. I've caught you in a lie. No, you didn't try and attempt to tell me where he was wrong. What you did do was demand that I told you where he was right and then lie about that fact.
Let's go back on the audio. Let's go back on the audio.
Yeah, I've got it recorded as a live stream, Irish. I know what I heard you say while you rumpus the living crap out of me. Well, no worries, I'll calm it right down. Point out nice and calmly to my audience that Brian's a liar. I asked him what he was wrong about. Brian told me, tell me what he's right about. And then he's just told me, now he's rumpusing me again, so I have to close the line because I'm having to strain my voice over the top of the rumpusing liar who just told my audience that we're going to go through and listen to the fact that I was just told by Brian that absolutely I attempted to justify where he was wrong. No, you didn't, you liar. You told me to tell you where he was right, and now I've got to close the line.
Yeah, notice how calm he is.
And again, because I'm being interrupted while I summarise what actually happened and what we all heard on the recording inspired Brian the liar attempting to obfuscate me and talk through the fact he's a liar.
Really?
Yes, you telling me to tell you where he's right is not you attempting, quote, to explain where he was wrong. Now, your incessant non-stop interruption isn't changing that the audience is hearing me. I've got control of the show, even when my own friends lie and rumpus through me.
Friends? Is that what I am?
Well, when you lie to me, I'm this close to disowning you, Brian. I wouldn't call...
Third time he said he's going to disown him.
You a friend when you tell an audience. We can go back and listen to you tell me to tell you where he's right, as actually you telling me where he was wrong and trying to tell me where he was wrong, you lying piece of shit. No, I don't see you as a friend when you do things like this, Brian. You're just rumpusing me now. I've got the line closed so my audience can hear how justified I am in treating you like you treated John yesterday, calling him a liar and stuff. The only difference being that you have lied. You in no way tried to explain where he was wrong. You demanded that I explain where he was right, making you an absolute fact of a liar, Brian. Now, you don't have to like this treatment. It's the same treatment that you gave John. It's just while you're rumpusing the living shit out.
Now, remember, we just listened to the treatment he gave John yesterday. Is that how Brian and John got on yesterday? Right? They had a disagreement. They'd had some over talking, but the way that Nathan is talking to Brian, that's not how Brian was talking to John yesterday. Not even close.
I mean, the audience can still hear me.
Oh. Yeah, that's because Nathan he's being a fucking idiot.
Now Brian's swearing at me on my own show.
But you were swearing, Nathan. Only Nathan gets to swear.
Why? Because when I asked Brian to explain where he was wrong, Brian did not attempt to explain where he was wrong. He demanded that I explain where he was right, and later lied and suggested that if that was him attempting to tell me where he was wrong, there's the interruption from Brian, the fucking scumbag, lying Irishman, who's gonna
Wait, you're not allowed to swear.
Fucking lie and fucking swear at me because he's a friend. Friends don't fucking swear and don't fucking lie to each other, Brian.
Oh, but you're swearing at him.
But that's what you're doing when you're telling me that you attempted to explain where he was wrong, when in fact, you lying piece of shit, you told me to tell you where he was right. You lying piece of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, so sit down and shut the fuck up, Irish. You lying piece of shit. You absolutely didn't try and explain where he was wrong. You demanded I told you where he was right, and your bum chum Adam came along to back you up.
Your bum chum Adam, oh my gosh.
And suddenly it's all reasonable. No, you say a man's wrong, tell me where it's wrong.
Twice after I said to you.
So you tell me he's wrong.
This is so classic Oakley. Oakley's like, you need to tell me this thing, right? He's demanding that Brian answer a specific question. Brian gets 3 words in, Oakley jumps right back in. And what is Oakley doing? Oakley is rumpusing.
You're going to explain where he's wrong. You're not going to lie. You're not going to demand I tell you where he's right, you piece of shit lying Irishman. If you say he's wrong, you explain where you say he's wrong.
All right, Monkey Cat Pat Pat says this is classic cult leader behavior. This is 100% cult behavior. Absolutely. So Steve Bauman asked what debate was this? This was 2368. Flat Earth debate 2368 live. So this is a hour and 56 minute video. So yeah, this is pure cult. Absolute cult up and down. Oakley is nobody will go there to debate him on the topic of the show that he pretends to have it be the topic of. So he's filled the panel with people that are yes men. But well, Brian isn't being a yes man. So what does he do? He gets the treatment because he's not a good enough yes man. Nathan, all hail Nathan. And if you're not hailing Nathan, oh yeah, you're gonna get everything. And he starts every show with "Don't swear." Of course, Nathan gets to swear. Nobody else gets to swear. He'll call out people for swearing and swear at them for swearing at him. This is absolutely insane. Insane. All right. What's K's? What is happening between K's and Otto here? They'll piss off and watch the stream. What? All right. Get along. Unless K's is a flatty. I don't know. Anyway, here we go.
Go.
Absolutely. He was wrong in something he was arguing with me the other day. Now, there you go. I tried to tell you that twice after that point.
No, he didn't. You told me to tell you where he's right. There's another lie from an Irishman. There's his lie, laid bare. You didn't try to tell me, Jack. You demanded that I told you where he's right. There's the interruption. Are you going to start swearing at me, liar? Are you going to start swearing at me as well as interrupting me? No, you did not attempt to tell me, Jack. You demanded that I told you where he was right.
On the second and third time, I tried to come off mute and tell you, and you wouldn't allow me.
No, I heard what you said. You didn't try. That's the third time Judas here has lied to me. I heard what you said. The words were, quote, "You tell me where he is right, you lying piece of shit." You gonna lie again? You tried to come off mute and what, liar?
I did say that.
That's very high-pitched.
After that point.
Yeah, it's because you're a liar, Brian. That's not what you did. You lied about it. After the fact isn't what you did. Demanding that I tell you where he's right isn't telling me where he's wrong, and then you lied about it.
Ask me 2 more times after that. You're trying to protect John here.
No, I asked you where he was wrong. You demanded that I tell you where he's right. When I pointed that out, you said, I tried to tell you where he's wrong. No, you didn't. You lied. That's the lie.
Now, I just wanted a little review. Brian and John, the prior day, had a disagreement about their pedantic misunderstanding about geometry. Whatever. It's just two people that don't understand geometry, even in the slightest, pissing about who's more wrong. That's what was happening. And now, on this current day that we're watching here, Brian said to Nathan that John was wrong. Nathan said, "Where is he wrong?" Brian said back, "Where is he right?" A weird thing to say, right? It's a reversal of the burden of proof on John's part, on Brian's part. Brian, rather than pointing out where he's wrong, which he should have done, said, "You need to show that he's right." He's right when he says his name is John. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But that's what sparked this whole thing. It's nothing. It's all about nothing. Brenda creates says it's all about who is more wrong. Absolutely. And I want to thank Brenda for this, because Brenda pointed out this particular exchange. And I think was it Brenda? Pretty sure it was Brenda. Some other people. There's a couple people that, find stuff and kind of sprinkle me with things, and I'll go look at them. And so anyway, yeah. And Brenda sent a pretty cool one just from 2 days ago. I might even do a pre-recorded video on it. Really, really good one. So, all right. If he's Judas, does that make Oakley Jesus in Steel City? Yeah, in Oakley's eyes, of course.
You've said it 3 times subsequently. While I'm pointing this out to my audience, Brian isn't listening to a single word I'm saying. He is non-stop rumpusing the living shit out of me in the vain hope that what I say about Brian's egregious lie, we've got it on tape. What is this in rumpusing telling me that we go back to the tape and listen to his response, which is, quote, "You tell me where he's right." That's not you coming off mute attempting to tell me where he's wrong. This is definitely you, the scumbag lying Irishman, interrupting me, though. I've got to constantly close the line because Brian won't shut his lying chops while I point out his lie to my audience. He doesn't like it when his lie's being pointed out. He didn't come off mute and try and tell me where John was wrong. What he did do is say, quote, "You tell me where he is right."
Yes,
Yeah, so sit down, you lying scumbag Irishman, and I'll tear the same strip off you. You tore off John, calling you a scumbag, calling you a
So I didn't listen to the whole thing. Was this scumbag exchange? Maybe it was, but it certainly wasn't this way. And somebody mentioned that his constant use of Irishman is racism, right? And that probably is a hint to whether or not Oakley is a fan of the mustache. It might give us a little insight into that. A good point there.
Liar on a live stream. See how you freaking like it. You proven lying scumbag. I'm this close to disowning Brian. I'm this close to never talking to you again. You're definitely not a friend, rumpusing me. Yeah, that's what you did say, Brian. Yes, you admit to it. Yeah, so you're definitely a liar then, because it isn't you attempting to justify how wrong he was. It wasn't you coming off mute and trying to explain how wrong he was, like you lied about repeatedly then.
No, I didn't.
No, so you're definitely a liar.
One word. That's all it is, one word.
Liar. So it wasn't you saying what you did then. That makes you a liar.
No.
Yes.
One word.
Yeah, you telling me to tell you where he's right isn't you attempting when you came off mute to justify how wrong he was. You lied, Brian. Not something friends do.
I never denied that.
Not something friends do.
I never denied that. That part I never denied.
So you're a liar. So when you tell me to tell you where he's right, that isn't you explaining what I've asked, which is, where's he wrong?
You to answer and you didn't allow me.
Yeah, I did. You told me to tell you where he was right. That's another lie. Brian saying I didn't allow him time to answer. I heard your response. It's on the recording. Where's he wrong? You tell me where he's right. Brian's got to continually lie now. Was that me not giving you the opportunity while Brian incessantly interrupts me? I've had to keep G+ line closed because Brian has interrupted this.
So yeah, those 6 squares at the bottom is G+.
Stream from me. Not.
Oh my goodness! Look at the diagram that's up there. The diagram destroys flat Earth.
Stop, like he interrupted John non-stop yesterday with his non-stop incessant rumpusing. Still Brian's interrupting. Yeah, Brian, you're a liar.
Okay.
Was it about the 69 miles per day?
1 second, I'm not interested. I have not denied at any point that I asked you, after you asked me what was he wrong about, I asked you what was he right about. I never denied that. It's after that point, you asked 2 more times, Brian, what was he wrong about? And I came off mute to actually answer you, right? Because it was something that you obviously weren't aware of, right? A situation you weren't aware of, and you didn't allow me to speak. That is the absolute fucking truth. You can go back on your fucking audio. You can see it. You can see it coming off mute. You don't need to be calling me a dirty scumbag Irish lawyer or whatever the fuck
I get it.
for me. Because at this point is the one who's
you're sweating now, right, Brian?
Not me.
Stressed out, right? Like John was with you yesterday. There's no need for any of this, right?
Fuck John. Fuck John.
Yeah, you can get all stressed out of me, John. And your treatment of him yesterday, calling him a scumbag liar, is why I've just treated you in the exact same way. The difference is, while Brian now loses his temper because he's obviously lost his shit, completely lost his cool.
I'm not the one that lost my shit.
Do you want to shut up then? I'm talking, Brian. Do you want to control yourself?
Yeah, you just keep talking. Keep waffling on.
Yeah, well, I've got control of myself here.
And then I'd like to know how my balls taste.
Like always, this is just another example. I've made Brian an example, my example, because he was doing what I've done to him yesterday to John, non-stop. Yeah, wasn't very nice, totally unnecessary, and I've just done it to him.
Look at the Ferengi forehead there.
Let's see how he likes it.
No, John. No,
now I'd like to know how my balls taste.
You're trying to lie your own way out of it.
Sorry, do you want to just fill me in then? Sorry,
I did not do that to John yesterday. I did not do that to John yesterday.
You didn't call him a scumbag. You didn't call him a scumbag.
Yes, today I did.
Oh, right, so that's okay then, because it's less than 24 hours. It makes it all cool, right? So it's okay, I can do it to you then.
No, because he is a scumbag. No,
you are a scumbag, Brian. You're a liar. We got it all on tape. I'll say it calmly. You told me you're just going to keep talking through me. Is this you muting me?
What the hell is going on here?
You know
yeah, it's just me tearing a strip.
Yeah. Neil, lapdog. What the hell is going on here?
Brian, because his behaviour to his friends is unreasonable. Now, me trying to explain that and being nice and calm is being met with Brian completely triggered, talking through the middle of me. I can turn it on.
I'm not completely triggered at all.
Do you want to stop while I make my example? I can switch it off, Brian, right? I'm now not tearing a strip off you, calling you an Irish scumbag. treating you like you treated John yesterday. I don't think it either.
No, I treated John accordingly yesterday. Anyone can listen to audio.
Yeah, anybody can listen to the audio. Brian telling me to tell him where John was wrong after a direct question to clarify his claim about how big a scumbag liar he was and how wrong he is. Now, me using that specific example, Brian, why is he wrong? And then Brian lying through his back teeth continually about coming off mute and telling me that he was.
I didn't lie, that's no lie.
There's Brian interrupting me now. He's not triggered, though. Of course, Brian's not triggered. Not triggered at all.
Hey, Lifey Lifingson says the leathery, hairless face of a dumb, child-abusing narcissist. 100%. Monkey Cat Pat Pat says next Oakley will, as all of his next Oakley will, as all of his followers to go bald, will ask. Probably, yeah. It's the way you have to look like him. Siggy Sigwald says, Oakley is alive? I swear, I thought he was dead. Or was it Mark Sargent? One of these. Kango44 says, it's just going to be Oakley screaming into the void soon. Nobody watching, no one on the panel, just a fat, bald man screaming utter rubbish. What? Yeah. Well, what's he going to do? He's going to burn all these bridges. I can't understand why Brian would ever come back on the show. Right? He would have to be like the biggest cult member ever to come back after this. Right? And the other people on the panel watching this happen, because this isn't the first time. Brian isn't the first person to receive this. Right? So how can any of them watch this and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to stick around? Oh, Otto says Siggy, and he spelled it out really long with lots of letters, and it's all caps for $2. Thank you for that.
Nathan, I'm sorry if
don't do it to John, and I won't do it to you. Now, I don't actually feel that way, but you do actually have that disdain towards John.
Fuck John. I'll do whatever the fuck I like.
I'll do whatever the fuck I like if you lie to me about what you are attempting to do and justify your scummy actions. When you're telling people that they're wrong and I demand that you explain how they're wrong, and you don't, and then lie about attempting to do it repeatedly, I'll call you a liar. I'll call you a scumbag with total justification, Brian. And all you'll do is try and talk through me. Is that all you got? I'll do it too then.
Well, maybe everyone might start speaking. If you start talking, or you decide you're going to talk at the same time, this is going to be impossible for anyone to hear me.
No worries. When I ask somebody, I'll try again. Second attempt. When I ask somebody, third attempt.
You don't get to carry on like you did today. You don't get to do that to me. Right, and I don't think
I do. It's my show. I'll do exactly as I please. Brian thinks because he's my mate, he can get away with this shit. No. If you talk to other panel members like Brian speaks to John, I'll just do the same exact thing to you.
But Oakley gets to he gets to do it.
Now close the line so that nobody can hear Brian constant being triggered. There's me opening it so you can hear how triggered he is. Now close the line, and I'll point out very calmly to my audience: don't treat other panel members like that. It's scummy.
Only Nathan gets to do that.
And if you do, I'll just do it to you.
Well, you can fuck me off your panel if you want, buddy.
No, I don't want to do that either. That's not what I'm trying to achieve.
Why not? I thought you were a man of conviction.
No, I'm telling you that if you treat John like that, start calling him names, scumbag, liar, things like that, I can find scenarios where you're the scumbag liar. Easy.
I'm a scumbag liar. No, Nathan.
No, none of us are.
Being a liar.
No.
When I laid out exactly what happened, suddenly you changed it to you were just showing me what it's like when I did to John.
Yes.
I didn't do anything to John yesterday. I didn't do anything to John yesterday.
So today you called him a scumbag. All right. Yeah, today you called him a scumbag. You're still doing it.
We didn't want to cause any trouble. I'm sorry. Is it Brian with the 69?
Paul Reed says, dude looks like Voldemort. Roger Shoemaker says he's so full of himself. Kanko44 says, is he ill? What kind of posture is that? Big Fish B32 says, in a minute, Brian will be all, I'll make my own channel and I'll have blackjack and hookers. Brian does have his own channel, but there's it's so dumb. His channel is so lame. Oh my gosh.
miles per degree.
No,
okay.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
It's not a 60, okay, yeah, because we were talking about 69 on the globe and all that, and we didn't want to we weren't trying to mess with you guys or anything. We're big fans.
No, none of us are scumbag liars here, right? There's internal feuding, right? None of us are scumbag liars. Now, does anybody appreciate that everybody lies before I have this caveat put in the comments? I appreciate everyone lies. Right, let's just...
I don't lie. I'm not having that.
Yeah, you do.
I find that morally...
Yeah, I'm not a liar either.
No, I do not.
Everybody lies.
Oh, Brian just lied.
No, I don't. I've lied in the... No.
Let he who's without sin cast the first stone.
I didn't say I was without sin. I said I don't lie. I go to great lengths. It causes me great pain to not lie. Sometimes I have to keep my mouth shut.
Wow, that'd be good.
But what I won't do is lie.
Okay, fine. Adam's notwithstanding, as far as I am concerned, at some point in everybody's life, they have lied at some stage. Right, that's just my feeling on the matter. If I'm wrong, so help me, cast me down.
I'd concede that. I would concede that in the past. But
there we go. That's all I'm saying. Everyone's a liar then.
No, well, not for many years have I lied to anyone.
I can.
No, everyone's not a liar unless you practice lying.
A change of subject.
Now they're pissing about who lied or didn't lie in their life ever.
I remember an alcoholic saying, "I am closer to my next drink than I am further away from my last."
I think he's trying to say, just because I was sitting in the past doesn't mean I'm sitting right now. You know,
I'm not
it's a lifestyle.
I'm trying to make the opposite point, like Brian yesterday, and he was robbed from him by the bastard John. How dare he? Scum. My point, none of us are liars, right? We're not liars. That's my point.
Wash it away like that.
I'm not doing that. I'm saying none of us are liars. None of us are scumbags. And if there's a perception of smugness, let's just say.
But what about the Irishman that you called a scumbag so many times?
That doesn't make John a scumbag, right? But you're taking it to an extreme that isn't necessary.
He is behaving as a scumbag. You don't know what the origin of this was. The other day you weren't there. Right? He's behaving. Yesterday he's having an issue with me. Today he's having an issue with me. And both yesterday and today he's trying to hijack my point as if it's his own. He doesn't have a point. His point yesterday was that I used the word push. That was his only point. After that, he tried to change it around into something else. And the reason John does this, 1 second, Nathan, the reason John does this, right, is because he's unable to concede when he's just wrong. He's unable. He just becomes awkward and difficult, and he becomes he starts strawmanning you. He's even likely to become abusive, right?
Yeah, nobody's allowed to be abusive except for Oakley.
He will not concede when he was wrong. The other day he was wrong about something. Me and Neil were there. He was there. He was fucking wrong.
No swear.
He did not concede. Sorry, he would not concede, Nathan, at all.
That's fine.
Now, what happened earlier? 1 second. What happened earlier? I did ask you what was he right about after you first asked me what was he wrong about. Then after that, I realised you didn't know about the event. So when you asked me 2 more times after that, I came off mute to answer you, and you didn't allow me to speak. Now that is shown in the audio and it's shown on the screen. I come off mute at that point.
Fine, I've heard you out.
But he was wrong about something the other day that you weren't privy to.
At some point you've got to stop, Brian. Brian, at some point I've got to respond to you. Okay. I heard you. I'm listening. I've heard everything you've said, and everything you've said up until this point is completely reasonable, because you haven't descended into a torrent of insults calling him a scumbag and such. You've explained perfectly reasonably where your position lies, why you feel the position is justified. Admittedly unjustified when you define his motivation. You haven't got a crystal ball. You don't know why he's doing that. You've done it anyway. I'm not going to let that slide, because you haven't descended into calling him a scumbag. It's not a name-calling session when you're explaining that he's...
But he did call him a scumbag.
He's hijacking my point about planes, and his only point is to say that I've moved a foot. Now, that, perfectly reasonable gripe, worthy of discussion, helpful to the audience even. But when it descends into what I just did to you, by example, calling you a scumbag Irishman, it doesn't help anybody. But that's what it ended up today, with you calling him a scumbag and such. Now, if you want to disagree with him, or say he's stealing your points, or he can't concede and therefore he's got to hijack yours and descend it into Delta X, then you can do that. But just internally, at the very least, if we can lay off doing that, because I don't feel that's the case. I don't agree with you, first of all. I just want to make that plain. You can call him my favourite if you like. I just don't agree that his motivation lies where you believe it to lie. I don't think he's trying to cause dissemination. I don't think he's trying to upset the apple cart.
All right. They move on from there and change other topics. Let me remind you, 3 were watching. All of 3 were watching that one. Let me also remind you that it's been 1,248 days since Nathan Oakley has been challenged to debate me on a platform where he doesn't have a mute button. And he has refused. Because Nathan Oakley is scared to debate me on a platform where he doesn't have the mute button. Because he knows he can't control the narrative. He can't get away with interrupting, over-talking, muting in order to suppress the information that I would share during that. Red's timer is over 2,000 days. I don't know the exact number of days on Red's timer, but it's over 2,000. So, let's see here. We got so anyway, that's the end of that particular interchange. I've got a different one that Brenda has sent, and I will pick up probably just to put into a video. So we got Siggy says, good to see he finally embraced his baldness. Yeah, he's going for the Ferengi look. I mean, some people like Uncle Fester. Some people like it's, halfway between Smeagol and Gollum transitioning, something like that. Right? There's a lot of parallels there. A lot of different things. And people, you're all right about that. Harnold says, if Broyan leaves, Okie Dokie won't have anyone to yell at for content. He'll find somebody else to yell at. He will. I mean, Nathan is an equal opportunity abuser. He will abuse everybody, even his own flesh and blood. Ugh, I can't believe that somebody mated with him. Ugh, gross. Ugh. I mean, Oakley himself is the spawn of out of a Ferengi's rectum. I don't know how crossbreeds work, crossbreed with humans. I don't know.